I can never see quite clear when I.
All right. Welcome back
He's not
to
wrong.
episode 3 of the talk show. That's a good abbreviation I invented there that I used my super smart brain
That's one smart cookie.
for. All right. We are joined by new guest, never seen before, the Dragon Man. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I am the Dragon Lord, or just Dragon for short. I'm in my early 20s. I am one of the Knights of T.W.K. Fun fact about me, I am a volunteer firefighter
Whoa.
because I am
Whoa.
stupid and have dumb decisions.
Have you
But hey, fight fires.
have you put out any notable fires lately?
Yes, I have.
Can you
So,
come to California?
Did you save some cats out of trees?
we have not saved any cats out of trees yet, but that is a call that we have gotten in the past, just not very often.
What
That is something the volunteer fire department will help with if you call us to help with that.
how often do you get called in?
It varies. On average, I would say about once a week to maybe once every 2 weeks.
Dang, that's more than I thought it would be.
During fire season, quote unquote, for our district, it sometimes will be up to like 3 times a week. So
That's cool. All right, well that is Dragon. And then the other guy who's just always here, can't get him to leave,
Actually, you can't get me to come here.
Mr.
That's the
Ricky.
issue. let's get this clear.
That is clear. That's exactly what happened. Tell us about your week. What have you been up to?
I got a job.
Whoa!
Big moves out here.
Where
in
at?
the,
What are you doing?
I do ice cream.
I do ice cream.
I'm an ice cream guy, and I make $17 an hour doing it.
That's
wait,
that's
wait,
brutal.
wording, please.
What?
You do the ice cream? Question mark? Huh?
I work at
Okay.
Cold Stone.
Okay.
That's cool. How long? When did you start that?
I started on Memorial Day. Worst first day ever.
Yeah, I bet.
Um,
Jeez.
yeah. But I worked Tuesday and Wednesday, and those were pretty slow, and they were just like training. And then today was my first night shift, and it was like it was Cold Stone 911. The line was all the way to the street.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
$17 an hour with tips is okay with me.
and I wouldn't work anywhere for anything less than 20 these days, and I don't even live in California. But you don't have any
Yeah,
like real expenses, so that's not bad. You
yeah.
like it? You like scooping ice
I'm also
cream?
a child. It's all really easy. Like Gunner might struggle with it a little bit, but like all the tasks are really easy. It's just like practicing them
Drinking,
like
catching
portion
strays.
because like portion sizes like they don't. There's no like actual like idea of portion sizes. You kind of just eyeball it, and you at some point you just get it. I guess is what
Yeah.
I've been told.
It's just a scoop, you know?
Yeah, but no, it's fun. I don't have non-slip shoes yet, so I've almost died a few times. But yeah, it's been pretty good.
You don't just
Uh,
wear non-slick shoes around all the time?
no,
Oh, you're weird.
yep.
Well, awesome, epic. How
Pretty epic sauce.
about you, Dragon? Tell us about your
About where I work?
week. How was your week?
Oh, my week's been, pretty good. We had my first major fire. So one of the hangars at the airport caught fire, which is usually not something our department handles, but they needed some extra hands, so they called us in. And I was told to hop on the hose line, so I got to put out my actual first major fire and actually help put out the fire, which was really fun actually.
That's cool.
Summer school started up, doing a summer class to catch up on just a few classes here and there.
Did
Still
you
working.
fall heavy behind?
Not heavy behind. I'm actually ahead of a
Gunner.
decent majority of people
Sorry.
within my class.
Another stray
Not
for
the-
Marine King.
I'm not like the furthest
I mean,
ahead, but I'm
you can't quote him
not
and expect me
behind.
not.
That wasn't him.
But no, just catching up on a class that I missed since I didn't feel like taking more than 18 credits.
Of course, of course.
So I'm just catching up on that, and that's going pretty well so far.
Interesting. Well, that's cool. Pretty epic. I didn't have anything notable. Just worked. That's my life. I guess since since the last podcast, since it was like the start of the weekend, I pounded out Dishonored 2. I guess I finished the DLCs for Dishonored 1. Then I pounded out Dishonored 2, and then I played the other one. I already forgot its name, where you get to play as the Black Lady Assassin. So I finished off the whole thing. All my thoughts are still the exact same. So there's your Dishonored update. It was a good sequel. Kind of rare. A lot going on there. Good stuff. Have you played the second one, Ricky, or do you only play the first one?
No, I almost played the second one, but I never ended up buying it.
It is definitely worth it. If it goes on sale on the Steam summer sale, you should pick it up. I think easily that could slip in and be one of your favorite games with the way that they do like the stealth. And the second one is like so much more. It went from being like 2 hours a mission in the first one to it being like 6 hours per mission in the second one. Like
Shoot.
there's so much going on there. It is crazy. But anyway, finish that off. Don't have much to say about it. It was just good. That's it. It's pretty rare that I have that feeling with the game. It was just good. Plain and simple, you know? So, good stuff on that one. Alright, well, I guess we'll start with Tarkov news. Nikita did the Tarkov TV today. Nothing really like super important happened. They gave away some crazy stuff with the promo codes. Like 2 pieces of level 6 body armor, a 6 spear, like a whole bunch of stuff. Like really high-ish tier stuff. Kind of interesting. I don't even remember the last time they did promo codes or Twitch drops that were that good. It's been many, many years. But
Because they actually need players back.
yeah, it could be. They only had 25,000 viewers for this Tarkov TV, which is
Shoot.
really low.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What he talked about I guess the important stuff is we're getting the Uzi next wipe. I guess next wipe will be early August. He's also never done that before. We've never gotten I mean this is as close to a hard date as we've ever gotten. He said that this next wipe will be early August and then the next one will be in December. So it'll be another short wipe. Some people call it the 2-month wipe even though yep, so early August, we're getting the Uzi, the Desert Eagle, the M60, and the SR3M are the only 4 guns that we're getting. Just pretty tragic. Still no SAW, but we'll just keep hoping, I guess. They're going to rework Factory by the end of the year, so that'll be what we get probably with the next wipe, which is kind of
a rework or like a
rework.
extension? Okay.
Reworking the whole map, which is kind of weird.
Interesting.
Kind of out of left
Yeah.
field. I don't really understand why, but
Pulling a page out of like Valorant's book.
well, Valorant has to rework
Didn't
maps
do it
because they don't know how to make
To
maps
make
because
'em?
they're idiots.
Yeah.
That's a little different, but yeah. Yep. So we're getting factory rework, Uzi. Dude, that's it. They showed off like some hideout pieces. You get like a dressing room with like some
Heck, you can
mannequins.
dress up some mannequins now.
Yeah, who cares? What else? I guess a piece that I liked. He said that EOD and Unheard editions, which I also just realized the abbreviation for that is TUE, like Tuesday, which is pretty funny. But we're gonna get unique dog tags.
Wow.
What else? There's nothing. This was a pretty
Sad.
sad Tarkov TV. Well,
Dang,
I mean, it
it's
wasn't
almost
sad.
like
It was
the
just
game right now.
existing. Well, okay. So like, I started playing again. I guess we'll spell the beans. This is the first wipe that I haven't touched the
Everyone make fun of
game
him.
in 7 years, or something like that. 6. I think it's closer to 6. And it's probably even closer to 5. But first wipe that I haven't achieved level 40, so maxed out my traders. I played like 6 raids at the beginning of this wipe. Back when it first wiped, and then I didn't even know that I played those 6 raids. Like, I don't even know what happened. But yeah, I jumped back in.
Some peanut butter raids.
I upgraded to the Unheard edition. And I am playing on the PvE server. I don't think I have any interest. Depending on the events that we get, I guess that's the other thing he said. He said that we're gonna get a whole bunch of cool events that we're gonna like from now until August, like every week. Actually, one just popped just now. All of the bosses are on Shoreline. There's a task to kill them all. You get every key for the resort on Shoreline and a sit case and 50,000 XP. So it's like pretty substantial rewards. And if the bosses like spawn every raid, that's not a bad event right there. But so depending on what we get, I might jump in and take Dragon up on his offer for infinity free kits. That's what he said. I have the writing.
Shoot.
So maybe, depending on what it is, if it's like like the stash space upgrade or whatever, like a couple wipes ago. But I don't really want to put any real time into it because it'll all just be gone. And if I want to play next wipe, I'll just burn myself out again. I gotta be really delicate with how I spend my time here. But the PvE mode is a no wipe ever, right? And like when they rework Factory in December, I don't want to get on and have to get to level 40 to use the stuff I want to use before I can like go experience that map. So I figure I gotta max out the PvE at some point so that when they release new guns, like what happens when they do release the SAW and it's like the PKM where it's like you can only get this on the
That's-
boss, and it's like
yeah.
okay, so my options are like spam raids on streets with everybody else and the cheaters to maybe try to use that gun one time, or like play the game and like max out my traders where I can just get it and use it, or like I mean now with PvE I can just like that first day of the wipe I'm not gonna play the real wipe. I'm gonna go on the PvE server and try all the new stuff, and then the next day I'll switch over and grind it like normal. So that's what I'm doing. It's kind of fun. I like a lot of the stuff that they've done. And then like I get to experience like I never played on Ground Zero. That map is probably my new most hated map. I think it's worse than Lighthouse. That map is absolute AIDS. Inertia and all the aim punch stuff feels better. Inertia, like I didn't notice it. Like I've got some screenshots. Zach and I were looking at our end of raids or end of wipes, like characters, and the last 3 wipes in a row are all the exact same for me. Like one of them, I ended like 125 raids, level 40 with like 400 kills and 15 deaths. The next wipe is like 120 raids with like 400 kills and 13 deaths, level 40. And then the next one is like 119 raids and it's like 430 kills with 12 deaths. Like they're all the exact same. Like I played the bare minimum because inertia has been so bad. But like I didn't notice it the last 2 days that we've been playing. I didn't notice it at all, which is really good. So maybe we'll come crawling back. Who knows? But there's the Tarkov update. What
Wow.
I don't think I have anything else to say about the Tarkov TV and everything. That was good. Good fun times. All right, well, we'll just move on because nobody cares about dead game, right, guys?
Yeah, that's pretty poopy.
Um,
Fuck you.
And what do we even want to talk about next year? Actually, you know what? We'll stay. We'll stay in Turkey Land. And Dragon had some words for me the other day over the old DMs. Let's talk about it, Dragon. You see your random thoughts that you sent me?
Yeah, I know what I sent you.
Dude.
Yeah.
Spill your beans there. Explain them a little more in depth, and we'll talk about them real quick.
So
I forgot
had
I
a
wanted to
few
talk
random-
about this.
yeah, I had a few couple random thoughts. First off, rats and
Oh,
Tarkov are not
okay,
fun.
okay. Let me
for the most
preface
part.
it by saying Dragon
The
is
second one.
the only other person that I have interacted with, like played more than like 10 plus raids with in the last like 4 years who got above level 50. Everybody else that I like play with pretty often like usually puckers out at 40, and most of my friends have never, like Ricky, never been above 37. That's his peak, level 4
Shoot, I
peacekeeper.
didn't even know it went that high.
Only ever
I thought it was like 35.
So and then
So,
Dragon has
calm
not
down.
played with us. Dragon's on this weird cycle where he never plays wipes with us at the beginning. He always plays the end of wipes, so we don't get to ever play them very much with him. So Dragon has played mostly like solo, quite a bit of duoing, but mostly solo. This wipe, and he's a 53, so he like grind out all the traders by himself, and he is like the freshest knowledge of Tarkov. Okay, and now you can spill your
Okay,
beans.
yeah.
I just wanted to preface it by
So-
Dragon's got a good ear to the ground on this one.
So the two random thoughts I had was, first, I was trying to think of a good balancing mechanic, I guess you could call it, for dealing with exfil campers and rats in general. Since, various opinions out there, but the majority of the player base does not like rats and or exfil campers for obvious reasons. So a little random thought I had was, I wonder if they could implement a way of just making an exfil camper's life just painful when they're play. So I was like, what if you kill within the exfil area, like a certain area around the exfil, you get tagged and cursed the next raid. If you've played tagged and cursed before, it's not a huge deal. Like, if you know how the AI works, it's not like the worst thing to have to deal with, so it's not like a huge thing. But then I thought of another thing, and it was a bounty system. And this is my main random thought. I thought it would be really cool that, say, if you got killed by a player, or killed a player, you could place a bounty on their head using in-game funds. So either your rubles, your USD, or your euros. And then if somebody killed somebody with who that bounty belonged to and turned in their tagged, they could get the money from it. And that's just like a very simplified version of it.
I'd be
It was a
putting
bounty
bounties
system within PMC.
On everyone.
I'd be putting
Every
bounties
every
person?
on Mr. Peen every raid, dude.
So, that's one of the main things that popped in my head is, how do you prevent people just spamming bounties on their friends or just some poor random guy?
If they
And
were
a
to
simple way
implement
do it.
if they were to implement something like this, they'd do it like really poorly. It'd be like you'd be able to place one bounty every 24 hours. Anybody on your friends list or in your party like couldn't claim it or turn the tag in. It'd have like a lot of like weird restrictions, but
Yeah.
I think a bounty system would be really cool. I like that quite a bit. That's a fun idea.
So, one of my little things that I thought would be a really interesting mechanic is, it's like the flea market where you can place a certain amount of bounties, and the more bounties you place out and get turned in, the more bounties you can place, and there is no limit.
Oh, interesting.
So you
So,
start
like-
with you can place 2 bounties out, but the more bounties you place out and people actually turn in, it builds your rep, and you can place more bounties out at higher values.
Yeah, the more you interact with it, the better it gets for you. That's interesting. I like that
And
too.
I thought it'd be interesting where you can't just place bounties on random people, because let's be honest, people would abuse that relentlessly.
Yeah, imagine being a streamer and they like find your name. You'd just have a crazy amount of bounties all the time.
So either A, you limit the amount of bounties a person can have on themselves, which a simple way of doing this was, I was thinking, okay, it's just the highest bounty there is. So you can only have 1 bounty on an individual, and it's whatever the highest bounty is
You could cheese it too,
that's been
though. Like
placed on them.
I could purposely put one on you that's like freakishly high, and then like I'm trying to think.
Nobody else is gonna.
I
place a
guess if it's
bounty
the
on you.
highest, it won't really matter. I was gonna say like you could put one on and then somebody could just hold it forever. But if we go off of the highest one, I mean somebody will just put 100 million rubles on landmark and good luck. But
Yeah.
interesting.
So you would have to do something where you can't place like an absurd amount. And a way to get around that is as soon as you place the bounty, the funds are subtracted from your stash. So you can't place like 100 million bounty fund if you don't have the 100 million rubles in your stash.
Right.
You have to have the money in your stash
And
and,
then-
it's immediately taken out.
Yeah, like flea market. Like it takes it and holds it, and if it doesn't
there's a
go,
fee.
then you can like get it back. But if it does go, then it's yeah.
And I would say there is a fee to place a bounty, and there's a reason I say that. And so it's the highest bounty, right? Your friends can't turn it in because that's just to prevent from people placing a bounty on their friend, killing them, getting the money, essentially. I think that would just be a nice little mechanic. And the other thing is you can place bounties on people who has killed you. Who have
Okay,
killed you.
so here's what I'm
And
thinking.
that way you can't place bounties on random people. So it's say this person exfil camped you, right? You place a bounty on them. You've made their life predominantly worse because now people are going to be hunting them.
So what if we're in the 5-man and I have a bounty and I get killed, but you guys kill whoever killed me and then pick up like my tag? Like how would that work? Would it be based on like
So-
turning tags in or like what? How would you fix that issue?
Yes and no. So how I thought it up is if the person, say you have a bounty on you and somebody kills you, right? It says who kills you on your tag. So if you turn in somebody's bounty and it's not your name, you
You'd
only
split
get
it or
say
something?
40% of the
Yeah,
overall
okay.
jackpot. But if you turn somebody's tag in who you killed and it says you on the tag, then you get the full 100%. And they already have that system in Tarkov inside of the hideout. So in part of the hideout, there's the trophy case. And part of the trophy case is if you place tags that were killed by you, scav kills don't count, it has to be killed by your PMC, of the opposite faction, you get a physical boost. So they already have the, hey, this person was killed by you and is of the opposite faction. And that also brings it up, they've been mentioning PMC faction between the PMC rep between the factions. This could be a way of boosting your rep or lowering your rep.
Yeah, PMC
well.
karma. Yeah.
PMC karma, that's what it's called, thank you.
Interesting. And that's a
Like I've detailed thought this out
yeah.
to an absurd
You were way
degree.
more prepared on that one than I thought you were gonna be. I like it. That seems really good. I like the
I
idea
went down
of
a
like
rabbit hole and I have like ways of counteracting just abusing it for the most part. The only thing is you're not gonna really know somebody has a bounty on them until you kill that person and then I was like, oh, you can just right click on the tag and say search for bounties. If they don't have a bounty, then it just acts like a normal tag. If they have a bounty, you can turn in the bounty for 40% or for the full amount, which whatever. So it puts more value on the actual tag of a PMC as well.
Right.
So now you have more incentive to go loot somebody, not just because they have good gear, but they actually have who knows how much money on them. They could have 100 million ruble bounty.
if you
Which also brings in, I forgot to mention this. They forgot something in the Tarkov TV. They did a small little mention about adding traps, like tripwires and mines,
yeah, booby traps have been planned for a long time, and they're a
for a
super
long time.
super huge
And then
part of
that
the lore.
completely broke my bounty system. It was like, okay, so you place a bounty on somebody, kill them, and then just booby trap their body.
Yeah, or like, what if I kill somebody and I don't know, and I don't ever get their tag, and nobody ever turns it in? Would you just like not get credit for the bounty at all?
So I'm assuming. So as I mentioned, if you turned in somebody's bounty that you didn't kill, you got 40%.
Right.
The person who did kill them, the name on the tag, would get half of what they were meant to get. So say of 100%, the person who turned in the tag got 40%. Of the 60% that left, the person whose name was on the tag gets 30% of what was left. So half. And that way, you still got credit for getting the kill, just not as much as credit for surviving, since that's the point of Tarkov. It is a survival game. You're supposed to survive.
What if
So
what
you
if
still get a
nobody
little-
turns the tag in though? What if nobody turns the tag in at all?
If no one turns in the tag at all, the bounty will remain up.
Okay.
However, bounties have a deadline, much
Because
like
nobody
flea
knows.
market.
Nobody knew that you died.
Yeah, or say you get a bounty on you and you're like, okay, I'll just log off for a week, right? So how I was thinking about adjusting that is a bounty will remain for a certain amount of in-game hours.
Just do
So
in-game
your
raids,
bounty
like the next 5 raids that you play or something.
or something like that, but you can't just log off and your bounty go away.
Yeah. I'm gonna go hide
But
for
the
2
person-
weeks.
But the person who
I guess
placed
I
the
can't play
bounty
Tarkov.
will still be able to place multiple bounties even if you log off. Like their bounties thing will reset, and that way you're not just stuck with a bounty that this person got off, and now you're stuck with a
Your
bounty
item that you
can't
put up
get
on the
off.
flea market, that's 10,000 rubles more than everybody else's, so it never gets
Or you
bought.
can just remove bounties like you can with a flea market. You just
Yeah,
remove the
yeah.
bounty.
Huh. I like it.
And I think it would also be an interesting add to the task, because PMC task is kill PMC, turn in tag. You could add more tasks where it's like turn in 5 bounties of bear tags. So you have to turn in 5 bear bounties, or you have to turn in 5 USEC bounties. So it adds a little bit variety to the task as well.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good system. I like that quite a bit. I think that's a fun idea.
Implementing the system, I have no idea how you implement it. I'm assuming it'll be like a flea market tab where you can go on and just see what bounties they are.
Yeah.
And you can filter it by your server. So you're not just looking at bounties halfway across the United States or something. It's local to your server. Or your
Interesting.
servers. And that way you actually have a chance of, getting a bounty done and or having a bounty placed on you.
Interesting.
I thought it was a neat idea, and I'm surprised Tarkov doesn't have a bounty system. The only thing I couldn't get around is how would you know somebody in raid has a bounty?
You just
until
wouldn't.
killed them?
You just wouldn't.
You just wouldn't.
Or like maybe
until
there
you
could
killed
be like a button on like Fence, and you could pay him like 20,000 rubles or something, and then he'd give you a random bounty, and then you could
And
like
you
go
have to
hunt
go
him or
find that
something.
bounty. And then you get additional money, and the additional money can come from the fee that when you put up that bounty, you have to, like a flea market fee. So
They could
Fence will
even
give
mix
you some
in like
additional money.
bosses on bounties and stuff too for like the Fence thing. Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be
that would make a lot of sense since,
lot
let's
of
be honest, if
potential
you're getting
there.
killed by a boss over and over again, you're gonna get ticked. So you put a bounty on him,
just
and then
the
just
amount
put
of
a bounty
tequila
on Blue
bounties
Car.
that would be like 2,000 rubles from
Yeah.
the level ones who died at the
All
sledgehammer.
all the tacos that came in to go and
You
warm up.
came
with
in
their
with your Glock,
pistols.
with your PST
Yeah.
runs that physically can't kill Tagilla, and he just runs you
Yeah.
down with this sledgehammer, and you get mad, and you're like, 5,000 ruble bounty.
But
Interesting.
I also
Yeah,
thought it would be interesting because this was another random thought I had after this one. So they removed the barter function of the flea market, right?
Yeah.
It would be interesting if they added in a request system. So similar to the bounty, if you say, "Hey, I really need a red key card, I'll give you X amount for it." You can put up a request on it on a board, so we can find it and turn in that request for you. I think that's a bit extra and not necessary with the flea market, but it was a random thought that I had.
Yeah. Interesting. I like it. I like the bounty system. That sounds good. On your thought on the dirty rats camping the exfils.
Oh, I have so much more thoughts for that. I have like dozens of thoughts of how to deal with rats.
So
Most of them are too cruel to be put into a game, though. So
one of the other things that Nikita did say today, because he hates the extract campers more than everybody who plays the game
Yeah,
combined.
everyone else.
He said that they're going to, when they add PMC Karma, it's going to be like hidden or secret at first. And if you spend if you spend like 30 plus seconds at an extract, or like in a zone that's near an extract, and then you kill somebody, you'll get negative PMC karma. Which I thought was kind of interesting. So like,
I think that's interesting.
When they say extract area, how big of an area?
well,
are
that
we
would be the
talking?
question, right? Because like Stink
'cause
Rat's
it's
gonna
just
figure out
the-
the exact area and sit
Yeah,
on a
the
tree
exact
1 foot
edge,
outside
you
and
know?
still do it.
Yeah.
Like it would
So-
it would still make it for like some of the tightest to worst extra. So like you're not gonna be able to fix Emercom on interchange, right? Unless you make it a
Yeah.
300-meter
Yeah,
radius.
you can't. You
But,
can't
like-
touch,
Intercom
like the
is a
entire
little better than it
coast.
used to be.
Right, but
I
like
will
if
say
there
that.
were enough penalties for this kind of a thing, like your PMC karma like really mattered, nobody would get extract camp to D2 ever again, which is like
I have a
that's what we want
very
fixed, right? We want gate 3 at factory and we want D2 at reserve fixed. So
so
I'm excited to see how they implement that.
I have 2 comments to make if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
First, they expanded the area of most extracts.
Yeah, they're huge now.
So,
I went to heating
they're
pipe
huge.
and I started extracting at the cargo container, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What on
They're
earth?"
Wow.
huge now, and I
pretty
like and
cool.
dislike it. I like it on some of the extracts. For intercom example, you can now hide on the backside of an intercom, which is kind of nice. So if you take the extra time to loop around, you're a little bit safer from
Oh, like by the
snipers.
tents and the porter bodies.
Behind the tents, and so you can actually exfil inside the porta
Wow.
potty,
That's
which
a
is
good
very
change.
nice.
Yeah,
So I think that's a good change.
the bulletproof
As
porter
for
potty.
dealing with the rats, I had 2 thoughts on this. One of them wouldn't work, and it was in a game called Dead by Daylight. If you stay stationary for too long, crows start circulating you. And I thought about that. That would be interesting if there's some kind of mechanic where if you're inside the exfil area, scavs just automatically tag and curse you, or the birds around the map actually served a purpose and would tell you where they're at.
I don't know
But the
about
thing
I don't
is,
know about the
snipers-
birds. That's a little too supernatural for me.
Yeah, and also snipers who like the point of a sniper is to stay hidden and take their shot at the right time, who don't necessarily exfil camp, would also suffer from that. So it's
Yeah, I was
you'd
thinking
have to find a way to balance
if
that.
you just hold still for too long, it just like pulls the nearest scav, and like they just come to wherever that direction
Yeah,
is,
it like
or
tags
something
and
like
curse
that.
that random
Yeah.
scav.
Yeah,
He's
interesting.
just on a blood mission.
And they start firing at you at a good distance, which would draw noise, calling in other PMCs, warning them that there's an exfil camper, which wouldn't be hard to implement, I don't think. But the other thing is, instead of having PMC karma, what if you just lost a bunch of money if you killed within an exfil zone?
It just takes your money.
It just takes your money, so they don't have enough money to run a kit.
Well, I mean, most of them aren't running kits to begin with, to be fair.
I think you should be able to go in debt in Tarkov. Unpopular opinion, you should be able to go in debt.
I don't know how like there'd be any real consequences to that though. Like I
There
don't
should be
You
know.
a
can't
loan
buy a
card
kit
creator.
until you pay off your debt. You can't buy anything until you pay off your debt.
Then I'm just gonna reset my account constantly.
Oh yeah, I guess you could just do that, huh?
I don't know about the going in debt thing. That seems like a little too extra for not much reward, but I like the bounty system. That's pretty solid. I don't have a huge problem with extract campers, and I never really have because of the way that I play the game.
I actually haven't had any exfil campers this wipe. I've had,
Whoa,
I think,
not a single one?
2?
Oh, okay, 2.
I think I've had 2, and I killed both of them.
I probably
so-
have like sub 5 total every wipe. It's like
Murder.
it's like
No, I've
never
had
more
3
than that.
because I was looting the safe in D2 and I got impact nated.
Ever
I was on a
since
scav though, so I don't really care about that one. So
yeah, ever since like 2021, I haven't seen more than like 5 plus extract campers
if
a
you know
wipe.
the spots, it's not hard to deal with. D2 is just hard because if they have a grenade launcher or impact nades, there's not much you can do
Yeah,
in that situation. Unless you're part of a team and then your teammates can at least recover your gear, but you still died, which is annoying to say the least.
yeah, for sure. I just don't see very many though. Like which I guess this is gonna lead me into my next point. So like you had a lot of thoughts based around rats. Like since 2021, like the whole gameplay loop of Tarkov has like changed so much, and everyone is so much more ratty. But it's like super de-incentivized like extract camping because you just like don't get much from that anymore because everything needs to be like found in raid, or you have specific task items, or there are so many tasks. If you're not doing it, you're just not going to get anywhere because all of the gear is put behind way higher level traders and so on and so forth. So like the reason that I didn't play Tarkov this wipe is like 40% because of inertia. It's like 20% because of like pure burnout because I've played so much of the game. And then the other 40% is like purely the way that people play the game. So like since 2021, we've lost extract camping, we've lost hatchet running, like a lot of that stuff has like gone away. But the PvP is just progressively, like every wipe, so much worse because everyone is trying to like min max. They're trying to do tasks as fast as possible, and they're trying to keep up with like all of the streamers that are just speed running everything. So it creates like super super weird ratty play styles. Or like I never used to get into fights and like it'd be a group of PMCs and we'd kill like some of them or half of them and then the other ones would just run away. Like everybody would always stay and like fight for their buddy's gear. And I remember last wipe, like everybody just ran cuz like they had a task item and like nobody wanted to fight cuz it's all about how fast you can level your PMC up. So that was just like all that I really wanted to say is like between inertia, between aim punch, and between like the meta that we have where everyone wants to play the game a very weird like niche specific way that isn't their own play style that they enjoy playing. They're just doing what everyone else is doing. Between all those factors, you like can't trust what you hear and see because the audio's so bad. You like can't trust that you're gonna win gunfights because the ammo and the penetration system is so whack. And now with the new body armor system that I'm learning is absurdly complicated for no reason, and there are so many pieces that are so irrelevant. And then like trying to level your character as fast as you can. There's no incentive to PvP. You don't get anything for it. All you do is lose. You lose money on the ammo that you fire. There's risk in you dying. If you kill somebody, their gear's not worth picking up and taking out. Or you'll be too heavy to even make it to extract. Or you're going to lose more money paying for your mule stem to pick up their stuff and get to the extract. So like just the way that people play and like the quality of the PvP has gone down like so much. It's like almost the most important reason why I just didn't play this wipe and why Tarkov is getting more stale to me as time goes on. I know that's not really something either of you have experienced because you guys didn't get to play the golden age of Tarkov, but
No, we're too new,
that's my
especially me.
that's my gripe. That's why I'm not playing very much. It's a little brutal. So that's why this PvE mode is like pretty refreshing. Like I'm enjoying it quite a bit because like I don't feel like I'm rushing to get like level 2 traders so that I can be shooting 7.62 by 51 and like have an optic because everybody else is going to have an optic and start one tapping me constantly, or like we're going to get to the point where they can get level 4 armor and then I just can't kill anyone cuz my ammo is crap. So that's like nice. And then like I am running into like PMCs. It's not like I remember last wipe I spent an extra 30 raids on Shoreline trying to kill people with my Ratnik and my Baka, and I just couldn't find
gosh.
PMCs because nobody wants to play the game.
They're so annoying.
So
I'm stuck on the kill quest again. I hate the kill quest for PMCs because you just can't find them, like you said.
you're also in like a unique spot because you're doing it like you really only play Tarkov at like the end of wipes, and like those, especially Punisher, are like so much easier to do beginning of the wipe, or like your pistol
Oh, yeah,
kills.
especially setup or
Yeah.
stir up, like the pistol kills. Those
You
ones are
get
easier.
those in the first like month of the wipe. It's like pretty common. But yeah, late
But-
wipe, nobody exists at all. It's really difficult.
Yeah, which makes the Lightkeeper task that much difficult. Since I'm level 53, I was like, hey, let's try to get Lightkeeper. Let's at least try, or let's at least try for Kappa, right? You need 20 PMC kills on the Lighthouse territory within a set boundary.
Oh yeah.
I know they reduced it to 15, but you still need 15 PMC kills within a set boundary of the Lighthouse territory.
Dude, and who's playing Lighthouse? That is just the worst
There's
map.
no one. I've had
And if you are, you're at the Rogues, which isn't in the area.
yeah,
So
which
like
isn't in the area. So I've killed a few people rotating between USEC and Chalet, and that's the only area I've seen people because they got a bad spawn at Southern Road.
and then because
Or
you
they can't.
can't do that naturally, you're going to be the guy who ends up sitting on the hill with the thermal waiting for people to roll by, and then you become the very thing that we
Thing
hate.
that you hate.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But like you have to.
thermal
There's no other way to
AXMC
do it.
works very well on that map when you're trying to get PMC
Yeah.
kills.
Yeah, it's brutal. A little bit brutal. That's a
So
symptom of a
I've just
symptom of
taken
a
break
symptom.
from the PMC kills. And I was like, hey, let's try for Kappa. I need grenade kills for Grenadier. Okay, let's go to Factory since you can find PvP on Factory relatively easy. Man, I'm getting wrecked on Factory. I just need to go full kitted with a grenade launcher, I feel like, to get the grenade kills. Because going lightly kitted with impact nades, people are just better at the game than me.
Unless you're gonna sit in a corner and wait for somebody to
Or
run to
sit in a
extract.
corner and wait for somebody to come to me, which I don't enjoy doing.
It's like really hard to get grenades, the grenadier test done when you're
I've
like a
gotten 3 so
solo.
far.
Like when
So-
you're a solo, it's so much harder. Like when we're in a group and I'm working on that, and we like corner somebody in a room on like Shoreline or on Factory or like Customs, I just have somebody else hold the door, and then I walk up and pull the grenade. Whereas if you're solo and like I know that you're solo, I'm just gonna wait for the pull, and then I'm gonna swing you and you lose. So like
Exactly.
it's quite a bit harder to do it solo for sure. So anyway, any other thoughts or wisdom you want to give from your wipe?
It's been a good wipe, and all things considered. Like, I've enjoyed it.
How's this
Like you
spear?
said, PvP has been iffy. Like most people have. The spear is fun. The spear is a fun. I'm enjoying the spear thoroughly. I haven't been running it most wipe because buying a million ruble gun that isn't it's as effective as a much cheaper gun just isn't worth it to me.
Is there
personally.
an armor penetration round for it yet? Because I think at the beginning
No,
of the
there
wipe
is
when I
not.
looked, it was like it only shot through level 4. So like
No,
I wouldn't
it
want to
acts
use it.
very similar to M80. So if you think you're shooting M80,
Oh,
it
it's
acts
almost
a
the
very
exact same. Yeah, 47 pen, nice.
Yeah. So it's as if you're running. A good way of thinking about it is if you're just running an SA58 with a 20 rounder, 30 rounder, or an 7.62 by 51 MBR, which is my preferred go-to gun at this point. It feels the same. It has slightly better ergo, I want to say, or slightly better recoil managements. It feels better, which I know is not a very scientific or
No,
logic-driven
eye
factor.
test definitely
It feels
matters.
better.
Eye test definitely
It
matters.
it feels better, and I like the way the gun looks. Like, personal preference. I like the way I hate how it's an off tan color than the other tan like stocks and such.
You don't like all the
I
random
hate-
colored pieces?
My minor OCD's like, please just make it the same shade.
Yeah. What happened to making guns black, man? What happened to BSG?
So, but the spear has been fun. I have been enjoying running it.
That's
So, if you
interesting.
can make money in Tarkov, which I have now discovered a very easy method to making money. I'm at like 100 plus mil now. So it's very easy to make money once you figure out a groove for yourself. You can run the spear. It's not hard. You can buy it off Flea for like 400k.
What's your
So-
method for making money that you've discovered?
So my two methods is learning good crafts within the hideout. So if you're not playing the game, you're still making money. The Bitcoin farm is a decent one, but if you really get the med station down or like the workstation, you can make about 2 mil offline, which helps. Shoreline's a very good map to run, as well as Streets. I have been actually enjoying Streets a lot. Buy a few marked room keys or just go into a random building. You can find decent loot on Streets, and even if you don't, you can usually kill somebody who has decent loot.
So Dragon's two main
So
ways.
the meta hasn't changed.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Dragon's two main ways are hideout crafts and shoreline.
Yeah,
and I was
that's
about to
like
say
climate
for any
change.
for any
hasn't
OGs,
changed.
the
Like-
game's the same.
Like
Yeah.
for me and Peen, when we were poor, like we would just go bang our heads against the wall on that shoreline looking for Eletics.
Yeah,
It works so well.
And then like every night I would like craft a few meal stims, buy some stuff at low prices, and that's just how wipe went.
Yeah. Or another actually very effective way that I discovered is cultist hunting. Like, at first I was beating my head against a rock of trying to figure out a good method to fighting cultists, and I just kept spamming, and I found a good groove that works for me. Hunting bosses for keycards is not the most efficient method, but on Shoreline, you can hit the resort, maybe hit some cultists, and you can get it lucky with a key card.
That's
which is
another
even better.
super unique thing that only you're gonna experience because cultists and boss spawn rates are like sub 3% at the beginning of the wipe, so it's just like not possible. But like at this
So,
point in time, like even like halfway through the wipe, they up them to like 30%. So yeah, absolutely. Farming the bosses for sure is worth money.
Like you said, late wipe though, but not early wipe. But then again, I did run into Glucar very early wipe this wipe. He just had trash gear.
It's definitely possible. It's just yeah. That's the other thing is like the Gluhar who spawns with 4 mags of M61 and the Voodoo on the M1A doesn't spawn on wipe day ever, right? It's always like
No.
Ash 12, not even with the PS12Bs. Like they're usually the A's. So yeah, a little brutal.
I've had him spawn I think with an NPX one time. I can't remember what he spawned with, but it wasn't the Ash 12 or M1A. I was like, I did not know Glucar could spawn with this.
I think he can have a PP19 and an MPX for his other gun, but I don't think I've ever seen him not have one of those two. But it
Maybe someone
it
got to him
changes
before I did.
Yeah,
Who
but
knows?
it changes every wipe though. So like, whatever. You can't really count on stuff like that because they tweak it so much. But
no, yeah. I asked you one time, hey, what's a good way of making money? I just run shoreline. I was like, sure, let's give it a try. Why not? And with the new vehicle extract behind the resort, that's always there. You can farm your scav rep if you want to, and there's also, if you have Red Rebel, there's a new cliff extract right behind the resort near Sniper Rock, so you can get in and out very quickly. And if you want to grind the resort,
Dragon calls it a
very
new
easy.
extract, but I
Yeah,
just
they
call
brought
it the
it
old
back.
extract.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
Yeah.
back?
That's the-
See, it's not.
That's what I used my first wipe, but it was gone after that.
It's a slightly
okay.
different spot than Rock Passage, but it's right
Wasn't
next
it called
to it.
like Smuggler's Boat or something?
No,
it
it's-
was like another boat.
No, it was called Rock Passage, and now it's just the
Oh.
other side of Rock Passage now.
But
I
no,
keep
because that's back, you
thinking
can
of
just spam resort easily.
Oh yeah.
So
I didn't know
Good
they
stuff.
added some more
I
extra.
have discovered why thermals are so broken because I was able to run thermals. If you have the ability to run a thermal on a decent gun, run a thermal on a decent gun.
There's a reason
It's worth it.
over 80% of my raids are with the Reaper on my gun. That's cool. Dragon's just like discovering all these ways that we've
Yeah.
been playing Tarkov for years on his own. I like it. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And the
That's sick.
recoil system they changed was very nice. It made non-meta build guns usable, which is a huge sigh of relief. Since
Yep.
you're not trying to maximize a gun build, you can just build a gun that looks cool or looks stupid, and it's actually usable.
That's another big reason that I wanted to give the PvE a try, because like I know that they changed the recoil system at the start of this wipe, they tweaked it again in the middle, and then they played with inertia and aim punch and everything. And I've been seeing tons of people say that like outside of a bit of like a content drought and like the play style of players, like it's in like the one of the best states it's ever been in. And I don't disagree. The recoil does feel really good. Inertia I don't notice, which is like how it should have been. So, and then there's no founder rate on fleet. Ricky, you've missed a bunch. We've got like 2 new maps that you haven't played on. There's like a streets expansion, a
Two
shoreline
new
expansion.
maps?
There's tons and tons of stuff that you
Wait,
have not
what?
seen.
There's more maps now.
So there's Ground Zero, which is the new
Oh,
starter map, which is
I've
so
been on
BS
that.
for that being a starter map.
I've been on
Ground
that.
Zero's
That's-
new as of this wipe. You haven't played
It
this wipe
should
at all,
not
have
be
you?
a starter
Wait,
map.
Ground
though.
Zero?
Yeah, it's
Isn't that? Oh wait, I think I'm thinking of like the weird like what was the new thing when I last played?
So there's a Streets
I don't remember what it
expansion
was
now.
called.
So they've, I think, doubled the size of Streets or something like that, or added like a third.
I think
of the
Ricky
size.
played like
Wow.
sub 4 raids on Streets of Tarkov, if that.
Streets is so much fun. If you have a PC
No,
that
I
can run
have,
Streets, it is
I
fun.
have like 10.
It got
The
got
problem
an
with Streets is the rat
expansion.
potential.
It got an
Why?
expansion last wipe, which is like double the size. Like it's almost the exact same size, but it's just
Did
like
they make it to where the game works on people's computers yet?
They made it better, but not entirely.
they added a special
They made
like
it a little
setting.
better. We're like, here's another double.
They added a
Yeah.
special setting where you can like change your textures for Streets, and it's definitely playable on lower end PCs for sure
So
now.
wait, they added you could change just for streets.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a setting.
Wow,
and
wow, that's
it's
And
how
it's
broken
default
it is.
on
It's a
They-
checkbox, and it's just
they-
for Streets. Yep.
They gave up. They're like, all right.
Oh, the BTR is
Oh
really
yeah,
cool.
there's a BTR
Shoot,
everywhere
I forgot
now.
that guy that came in.
So
I
there's
heard I heard a
one-
little bit about it.
So yeah, there's one on woods and there's one on streets.
Woods?
Yeah,
Yeah.
woods. It's actually I haven't used the travel
What?
function.
It
that
drives
much.
around the
Sherman.
entire map too, like the entire map.
Yeah.
Does it just like follow the roads?
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
follows the roads.
It's like the
Okay.
bus on transit. It goes and it stops and then
It
it
just-
beeps and then it goes and then it stops and
Wow,
then it beeps.
really? Is it just
Yeah.
a 1-for-1 of train? Oh god.
So
So they brought Sherman to Woods.
The actual Sherman, yeah, not
Yeah.
not Gunner
not
Sherman.
the funny, not the funny haha. That it's the they did it.
So yeah, it's very interesting because being able to take things out of raid to your stash and have it remain found in raid, which now it's not that important.
Yeah,
with
it's a
things not
drop.
having
You
to be found
can
in raid.
you can drop your
It's
loot off and
very
extract
nice.
your bag and whatnot.
It's very nice. You can bring up
Wait,
to
what?
300k into
so
raid
you
now.
could run up to an extract and like throw your
It's
bag?
just the BTR. You can run up to it and you can drop
Oh.
off any loot you want to your hideout
I guess that's kind of cool.
and then keep
And the
playing.
more your scav rep, the more loot you can drop off for cheaper. So
Like like how much are we talking? Like a little. Like
it's like I
maybe-
think it's like 1, 2. I think it's like a 5x8. I want to say, or 4x8 box.
Huh.
Enough for a bag.
Like it's enough for an SR25. Like I managed to fit the spear in there. I managed to fit the spear because like, ooh, a spear. Let me get this out. Put it in the
That's
BTR and it got
interesting.
out the spear for me. So you can bring up to 300k into raid now, I think,
And maybe
and
I
you
actually
can
need
pay
the
to get stuff
charcoal.
out. You can pay for a gunner protection, which I haven't done yet, and you can pay for transit to go to a location. The problem with paying for transit is it's very easy to tell if the BTR is transporting somebody because it'll blow through stops. And if you run with an SJ6 or just high enough endurance, you can catch up in time for the person to get out and just gun them down. That has
So,
happened to me twice.
Can
So
you?
I
You're
paid for
allowed to
transit
just.
and died.
You're allowed to just run in tandem with the BTR.
So it is faster, but if it, it
Yeah,
stops,
but like it's
you can catch
obviously.
up.
But I'm
fairly
saying
quickly.
like it's not like an automatically hostile entity or.
No, it's not automatically hostile.
Unless
you
they
can just walk
pay
up, wave
unless they
at it,
pay for the gunner portion. Yeah.
unless they pay for the gunner portion,
Okay.
which you have no way of telling if it's been paid or not, aside from hearing gunshots in your direction, as far as I can tell. I have
Shoot.
not seen the gun in action. No one has paid for it in my raids.
Other than that,
I've
is
seen-
it like if no one's interacted with it at all, is it always friendly to you then?
Wow.
Yeah, that's
so
what
it
I thought.
is just
Dude,
transit.
it rolled up on Zach and I in
They-
our last
they-
woods raid, and I was scared of it. So I hid behind a container, and waited for it to go, because I hadn't interacted with it, and I was like, dude, I know
Yeah,
that thing's gonna
you're
have a
like-
grenade launcher, and it's gonna be like Rochelle's
It
boys
op-
on
opens up
Fortress,
with the
and
Mark
it's just gonna
19.
pound me, dude.
So here's one issue I have with it is first off, there's no way to tell if it's hostile. Like you have no way to telling if somebody's in there and paid for protection aside from it blowing through stops and shooting at you, which if it starts shooting at you, you're kind of screwed. At that point, you can only fit 4 people. So you can't if you have a 5-man, one guy's just kind of sorry bro, we're leaving you. You can only fit 4 people in the BTR at a time. You can't fit 5. So if you're running 5-man on streets, you're ditching one of your teammates
Well, I
if
mean,
you take the BTR.
I think that's just kind of their way of making it to where like there's not a full 5-man popping out of one of these things. I think it's just like
Still,
the only way
if a
to-
4-man point pops out, you're kind of screwed. Like I got killed twice because by the time the animation ends, like you get out of the BTR and you get your gun up, I was dead. Like even though that guy's aim sucked and he legged me and armed me and didn't even headshot or thorax me, by the time I managed to get my gun up, I died because there's nothing I could do.
Yeah.
So if they could fix a way to make it so there's safe getting out, that would be really nice, which I think just barricades around the area might help a little bit. I don't know. I just don't use the transit option.
You want a bus stop? You want an armored bus stop that you can
I would
hang out
love
in?
an armored bus stop.
They should have like a cool little like death light, like a red light that pops up if you pay for the gun, so that way you could tell.
Yeah, if they could do like a little
Yeah,
like a
like a
police siren
TV.
that spins and it's like blue if it's not in use, and then like
it-
red if it is or something.
So on
Honestly, I would
nighttime
think that would
maps,
be
is
good.
there like a light on the BTR? Like
No.
it has a big old.
No.
Really? It's
It's-
just.
I
It's
have
freakishly
not noticed
loud.
the night on the BTR. It's very
like the
loud. You
airdrop.
can definitely hear it coming.
So You guys know about like the red, like quote unquote eyes on like a T90 tank? Like, why don't they just do like
Yeah.
one of those if you pay for the
Because
guns?
that's not Russian and it's too advanced. So
No.
Yeah.
Well,
we can
But
afford
as far
those
as I
when
know,
our people
also it
aren't
doesn't have a
starving.
thermal signature, which really bugs me because a running vehicle would have a thermal signature, but it does not have a thermal signature.
well, also the entire world is cold, so that might
Fair enough.
be another issue.
Not an issue. I
That-
mean, how else
That's
would you
always bugged me
implement
about the
thermals?
car too, like the Xville car that's running. There is no thermal coming off the car, and I'm like, I feel like there should be at least
How
some
else?
thermal signature
How
coming
else are
off
you
of
gonna
that.
implement thermals in a video game though? If you make them look like real life, it's gonna just cost
Yeah,
so much.
terrible.
Yeah, I think it's the best thermal system I've ever seen. I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want the
Yeah,
ground
no,
to light up like that would
yeah,
suck.
no, I agree. But if we're gonna talk about heat signatures, like that should be the first thing we talk about.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
BTR.
but no, the
Wow.
BTR's an
Bird.
interesting mechanic. I think it's good. It also pushes for you to have higher scav rep because you can
There's like a real
get
reason
more
to have.
stuff out.
Yeah.
Shoot,
You can get stuff out for cheaper and
No-
Xville for cheaper at
no
car
more.
extracts, which is nice.
end of life Chuck just going on
Oh,
scaverns and murdering
you can't stop
everything.
me. You can't stop me. I'll do it every time. I will do it every time. That's like some of
We
the
load
most
into a
fun.
scav raid, and I'm looking for loot on the ground, and Chuck's looking at the other scavs to see what they have.
Oh yeah. Or I'm looking at your screen share, looking at the scavs to see what they have because
Yeah.
I have -8
You can't
rep.
go near them. You're like, I like that backpack.
Let's take that one. Ricky, you want that guy's radar? I'll get you that guy's radar.
Just distract him.
That's a nice pilgrim you have there, sir. My friend's gonna take that. Yeah, good stuff. That's still some of the most fun I've ever had in Tarkov. That's some good stuff. We've had some good moments, that's for sure. Definitely some bad ones too.
Remember
Five
the
man fighting
White Knight?
5-mans are fun. I enjoy
Remember the
those.
5-man and White Knight?
I don't want to
Do
think
not
about
talk
haven't made a
about the
joke about that in
5-man and
forever.
White Knight, please. I still have
We haven't made a
PTSD
joke.
going up those
We
stairs.
haven't made a joke in that for a minute. Because it happened. Was it twice that night, or
It
was it
happened
back to
twice!
back days?
I think it was
It
back.
happened
remember
twice. I
it-
don't remember if it was back to back
I
though.
think it was back-to-back raids in the same day.
Yeah, that's what I was. I couldn't remember if it was back to back raids or back to back days.
It definitely was within the same day. I just don't know if they were back to back raids.
I've got a lot of
Yeah,
horror
no.
stories about White Knight. Like even all the way back to when I played. Like when I played with Space Muffin, that building was a place of contention. When I played solo, it's been a place of contention. I've watched all of
don't
my
go to White
friends
Knight.
team kill each other in that building. I've watched
Yeah.
everyone die to one guy in that building. That building is a disaster.
I don't go to
Yeah,
White Knight on my solo runs.
think-
I avoid
think
the building.
Knights are probably the most my probably most hated buildings on reserve to fight in.
I like them. I think they're fun. They're super easy to lock down too. It just takes
yeah,
a little bit of skill and
can lock it down really
communication.
easy.
Yeah, but if you're a solo trying to lock it down, have fun against a 3-man.
Well, if you're a
one on each
solo,
floor
you
of the
don't ever lock
windows.
anything down. Like that's not you play the
no.
game fundamentally different when you're a solo.
Yeah.
As a solo, you're like trying to run in.
The only way you lock something down as a solo is if it's a room with one way out and there's a door.
the-
Like
To be fair though,
the
I am
kitchen
proud
and
to
White Knight,
announce-
that's all yours.
I locked down underground, and I am proud to say I locked down underground. I am happy I could do that solo. Was I
Easy.
using a modded SA-50 and it got off a guy? Yes, but I also did it again with the Scar. I see why Cadillac likes the Scar. It's a pretty fun gun to use.
I hate that gun so much.
I prefer the MDR every day of the week, but it's not a bad. It was a pretty fun gun, and I managed to get I think 4 or 5 kills on each raid and raiders and locked down underground solo, which was fun.
Hey, you should come play some PvE with us, Ricky. I've got one.
My-
I've got a big boy Scar for you.
But I don't know. I'll probably play like a game or two PvE to see how I like it.
Maybe you can get
It's
level
not
40
bad.
for the first time in your life.
I just don't know. I just don't know how fun that will be to me because my biggest thing with Tarkov has always been the PvP, and I think that's kind of like why I stopped, is because the PvP stopped being as fun the last few wipes. Like as you guys were saying, like
You don't want to just
people
pound
play.
out some tasks?
Get
No,
Lightkeeper.
You
that's
Get
don't
not-
like
Kappa.
that's
you don't
not
like
as
taking your
fun,
bolt
dude.
action rifle in and shooting a scab in the leg with iron sights at over 40 meters away? What do you mean you don't enjoy that, you
Screw
psycho?
Tarkov shooter. Oh my!
I thought that was the best part.
It's hilarious seeing how some people struggle on tasks and other people just fly through them too. Because I had no problem with Tarkov shooter.
Nobody watched the first hour of my stream tonight. We won't talk about what happened on Woods with Zach.
Oh,
Now I'm
God.
curious though, because I wasn't here for that. What happened?
Shoot, you can buy the individual lines of stash now.
Yeah, and all the clothes. I guess not all the
I
clothes,
think they
but a
made it
bunch
so
of
you
them.
can do a task near the end of this wipe to start of next wipe. You can unlock it via task.
Wait, this
Like right now,
apparel
you can get the
unlock-
clothes via Drip It
So-
Out Part 1 and 2.
No,
so-
so this apparel unlock. So does that mean like, let's say like I wanted the level 40 woodland for my USEC, and I spend $5 for it. Next wipe, right off the rip, I get those clothes.
Yep.
Yes.
Or you can
Wow.
grind to level 40 and buy them.
Man,
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
that's actually, you know what? I like it because I hate the base clothes. So I don't hate it.
They're not a bad price.
Or if you played this wipe, you could get the task done and get it without spending the $5.
Originally, they only swiped clothes that we already had in the game, but they've added 2 sets for each that they made specifically for the store that you can buy. But then they added tasks later that you can also get them in game. But
Yep.
it,
Drip It Out
it's not a
1,
bad
2.
system for sure. Probably worth doing if you hate the clothes that much. But yeah, not bad.
I was seeing if I get it done automatically. I'm making very slow progress getting it done just by running the game. I think it's 50 raider kills, 50 rogue kills for each individual task, and then you have to get 50 of their items, like the war tech stuff and the
That's
I
not
forget what
bad.
the other one stuff. But you have to get 50 stuff, 50 rogue kills, 50 raider kills.
The only thing would be rogues because I don't go to any maps with rogues.
One map with rogues, bro.
Rogues are so easy to
Lighthouse?
flip and hunt.
Yeah, best map in
Like-
game, right, guys? Best map in game.
Oh
That's
my,
my-
I
that's my
hate flipping
favorite.
Lighthouse so
That's
much.
my
I
favorite
hate it.
personally.
Yeah, that map is butt. One last Tarkov thing I want to say: the promo codes do not work on the PvE version of the game. I got all the stuff in the PvP version, but I didn't get them in the PvE version, which I
good
think is
to
kind of funny.
That's so
I also-
silly.
I paid for Unheard, and I immediately got the package in the PvP server. So I got my armband, my special device, all the extra stuff that comes with it. And now it's been 4 days, and I still haven't gotten it on PvE. I saw a bunch of Reddit posts of people having the same issue, and it just came a few days late. So I'm assuming that's what's going to happen with me too. But I thought it was something interesting to point out that, like, they made a big stink about Unheard, which is like separating the community, right? People are like mad that people are buying it, so it's like separating us. So you're like putting yourself out there to be hurt by everybody else if you buy Unheard, and then like BSG doesn't even prioritize you. Like you don't even get extra stuff. Like you're not the priority from them, even though you have the most
Oh.
expensive one. Like I didn't get the promo codes. There's like no hustle to get me my stuff, and I thought that was kind of interesting. Like it just doesn't matter that I did it. Like they don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you're gonna get big old dragon bounties on your head when they. See
Now I'm
you
gonna get a
on the
big
little
old
icon
dragon
next to
bounty
your-
on my head.
If I am able to place bounties on friends, I will grind the game purely to do that.
Yeah.
Just to screw with my friend.
I think that would be fun, and I think that should be allowed too. Like I think that you should be allowed to put a bounty on your friend. That's kind of fun. I like that.
Yeah,
I think it'd be cool if you could also put
dude,
items on. So if you kill my friend, I'll give you some alcohol. I'll give you some vodka. And
Oh,
moonshine.
of course.
So I think having that item would also just be a nice little touch
Yeah,
on top of the money.
perhaps.
Or you could add it so you make a kit. Hey, if you kill this person, I'll give you this really nice RSAS with a thermal on it. know.
Custom rewards you could enter in. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
There's endless amount of stuff you could do with
Dude,
the bounty
maybe-
system. It's just implementing a bounty system.
Maybe I'll have you write some thoughts down, and we'll get together, and I'll have you yap about it, and I'll make a YouTube video about the bounty system, and we'll make one a little more thorough. Dragon's idea
Yeah,
for
sure,
the
I can do
bounty
that.
system. Maybe
My head's still spinning. I got a lot more about it that I didn't
Yeah,
mention
maybe
purely
s-
because I haven't worked out the details.
maybe start writing them down, and we might get together and make something a little more organized, and I might make a video. I like
Yeah,
the
I can
bounty
do that
system a
too.
lot. That's a fun idea. I think it'd be pretty easy to implement too. I don't think it'd be that hard.
I think it wouldn't be fixing streets would be harder than a bounty system. We can put it like that.
Fixing streets is like the biggest task in any game developer history ever. Like that map is bigger than anything else.
But no, I think it'll also add to PvP because it'll add an incentive to PvP. So it's like somebody in this lobby has a bounty because it's based on servers, which is worth a lot of money or
Oh,
for
man,
extra
maybe.
task.
Yeah.
So it'll add to the PvP, and hopefully people won't rat as much, but it might make it worse. It might have people just ratting to get the bounties. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Like them, when they like de-incentivized hatchet running, they thought that it would make it so like people would bring kits in, right? So like a big part of it was like guns were like way too expensive, and now we have like you can buy a Glock for 16,000 rubles, right? So like
Yeah,
they did that to get rid of hatchet runners in the intent of like incentivizing PvP and like bring a kid in a fight. But what it
and it
did
just
was
backfired
we're
on
still
them.
coming in naked, but now I just buy an SVT instead and I camp the same way, but it's like more effective. So like sometimes because it's like the reason that we love Tarkov is because it's so complex, right? Like there's so many pieces and moving parts, and that's what makes it so special. But it also means anytime you tweak anything, a lot of the times you get unintended effects, which is like a big issue that we're suffering from, like with inertia and everything. So yeah, it's a hard system to try and tweak for sure, because it's just there's so much going on there. It's kind of outrageous, but
Funny random thought: if you're exfil camping with an impact nade and you throw it, it explodes in front of your face.
if you're extra
I haven't
camping,
looked at that.
your game gets deleted and you don't get a refund and you're not alled to play ever again. That's what I think
Okay,
should
that's a
happen.
bit
I have-
excessive.
I have a clip of a guy that threw an impact grenade and he didn't survive.
I had that not this wipe, but I think a wipe ago. I had an exfil camper kill themselves with a grenade by accident. That was funny.
Those are the
Man.
noobs. They haven't done it enough. Not seasoned veteran campers, that's for sure.
But no, but like I
That,
remember
that
you
ain't no
posting a YouTube
Carl.
video
That's
on
just
the
a
D2
rat.
clearing. It's
It-
very hard to clear D2 with the impact nades and grenade launchers.
Oh
Like
yeah.
even if you do it right, you might just get F'd by a grenade launcher.
Well, there's no way.
And they're so common.
Yeah,
like if you
there's
just
no
do
way to
grenade
clear
boxes
certain
and water
spots.
boxes,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
can get
there's
grenades super easily.
That's yeah. If you're solo, it's like really hard to do. If you're in a group, you're like somebody's still gonna die, but like you'll win, which is all that matters.
You'll need a
but,
sack one, which is kind of how a lot of like
but that's what Mr. Peen's for.
extract camping
so.
stuff is. Yeah. Hey, you remember the Chinaman?
The
The
Chinaman.
Chinaman?
Oh,
the Chinaman.
I
This is
re-
before my time, I think.
no, I had an SPD. We were in the
Yes.
basement of Black Pond. I remember.
Oh, I
opened
remember
up
this.
all my clips
remember.
Escape from Tarkov, and this is the first thing. in
I
this folder.
remember my war crime.
This is the first picture in the folder, and it's called Chinaman's Betrayal.
I remember.
Oh, what clips do I have actually?
I only needed
Numbers.
one more, okay?
I don't even think wasn't it like not your last kill?
Oh, it was.
Or did-
That's why I did it. Yep,
Uh,
my
I got Snico Sniper done this wipe too, which was nice. I got Snico Sniper and Tarkov Shooter Part 8.
No, it wasn't your last one. It was just going towards the quest, Chuck, because I just watched the clip back and you just said you needed kills with the SVD.
So
I'm pretty
this
sure
is
it's the
fun.
last one.
I have a story for Chuck. So I'm running Shoreline with a friend of mine, Ramus, right? And I get wrecked by the goons, okay? Like, I just got absolutely destroyed by the goons, right? And it's happened twice now that BCP FMJ just goes straight through my Coron, so there's, like, nothing I can do. And so I accidentally run into them on customs. So I'm just making my way to exfil, and I'm like, let's check, Stronghold or the Scav Fortress because I need PMC kills there for clearing outpost. And Rashala might be there, and I can get some extra money from Rashala, right? I see a Rashala guard. I kill him. Easy. I have a M700 and an FN57 pistol. Kill the Rashala guard. As I'm pushing up, I hear an English voice line. And my heart just sinks because I know it's the goons. I did not realize the goons and Rashala would team up. I managed to beat the goons with an FN57 pistol. And it is one of my proudest moments this wipe now. Wiping the goons with a pistol and Rashala.
Pistol
Very
game.
happy that I was able to do that after getting my butt kicked repeatedly by them.
Nice.
That's a good clip.
I'm proud of you. What a gamer. All
Man,
right,
there
well,
are some pretty gold clips on here.
too bad you don't play video games with us anymore.
I have a lot of few
Yeah.
clips on my computer. I'm trying to find one of. I wiped a fireman on interchange without getting shot at once, and then a sniper got me while I was looting the first kill. I cleared the entire area, but apparently I didn't clear it well enough, which was very unfortunate.
All right, well, we will save the rest of the Tarkov stories for next time. We are well over the allotted time. I know that we're going to leak
I didn't
over.
realize that. Whoops.
I know we're going to leak over and we're going to be the 4-hour podcast eventually, but we're going to pretend like we're going to start slow and we're going to try and keep it to somewhat an hour / an hour and a half already.
I
Um,
have Peen
I don't
yelling.
know.
You guys want to hear Peen yelling on Factory? I still have that clip.
perhaps later. But I think we're going to be
I have a
done.
lot of-
We're going to be done with this one. We're going to tie her off. Call it good. Any final thoughts?
Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for coming on. Come next time.
Perhaps.
Battle
We'll
Pass?
see. We'll see how I'm doing.
Did you say Battle Pass, Ricky?
No.
You're fired.
Finally, I did it.